Check out Navin Lalo Streamer Network for all your streaming needs. We provide multiple angles, video and photo slides, clean audio, recording a full live stream. Contact us at 335-0205. Remember the name, Navin Lalo Streamer Network, bringing real-time events to you.
For all your live events, make sure to choose Swanky Lights, where we specialize in all your lighting needs. Contact us at 358-9305. Swanky Lights.
Ki Jai. Let's close our eyes as we observe a moment of silence in the name of our dear sister who has departed from this world. Asking Bhagwan, O Lord, you are the giver, we are the seeker, O Lord. Grant her peace wherever the soul is at this moment. Om Hari Om Om Atakalicha Mamabhya Samutram Kalabharam Ya Prati Samabhavam Mayatra Natam Sridhivam Gorodyanam Kalyana Trishti Mata Deva Namostute Om Maturvaso Mritayadam Deva Vashtanam Tirhacha Guru Sabha Bandhanam Yamiri Bandamritam Mrito Yokaya Chanda Guru Pinda Deva Purushaya Namaha Hari Om Hari Om Hari Om Om Pusham Tayam Chava Vitra Parayatra Samadhivam Bhuvaya Ghopasana Yatrabham Pitaya Prita Bhudevam Agni Dhyana Deva Surva Vita Namostute. As we pray, we sit upright, clasp our hands. As we ask Bhagwan now to grant that peace towards that soul, to grant her that balance, that the soul will travel freely towards the heavenly region. Om Pusham Trayam Utaro Pavayam Anitra Bhavani Bhutana Hotana Krishna Satamarama Pritayam Jaya Vasa Jane Yatra Vinaryang Narvagriya Paranabhai Tatram Sriya Vitratma Shanti Atma Namostute Om Sri Paramatmaya Namostute Kalyana Trishti Samadhivam Mangala Guru Dhyanam Namostute Hari Om. O departed one, death has separated you from this body. Please accept your next stage in this journey of life, that you are now into the Prita Lok, traveling towards that heavenly Sri Krishna Bhagwan. O Lord, as we perform satsang tonight, asking you, Lord, to make conscious of death, that the soul is going to be able to travel towards your plane, O Lord, taking love and devotion. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Manavitram mama idamam Nitrayukata utasati Shradhaya pashinam idam Mamatayatma namostute जय जय गुरु कृष्णाय कृष्णा नमोस्तुते त्वमकं विष्टा वित्रमा पर्वतायिनी जय कृष्ण कहो भजो मन नारायण नारायण बोलिए भजो मन नारायण नारायण मातन मातन कृष्ण कन्हैया नृतन योग उपातन कृष्ण नारायण स्वारानन कृष्ण मेयुक आत्मविता जय कृष्ण भजो मन नारायण नारायण भजो मन नारायण नारायण ये तमथा कृष्णायो कपुधारी सर्वन चित्र कृष्णात्नो न कुठारी केशन तो जय कृष्ण कन्हैया सर्वमति जय कृष्ण विरासुक भजो मन नारायण 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 प्रभो नारायण प्रभो नारायण प्रभो नारायण प्रभो भजो मन नारायण नारायण भजो मन नारायण नारायण ये तन सर्व कमा कृष्ण कन्हैया मावन तो जय नारायण आतन योगन मादन उपद्री कृष्ण तो जय कृष्ण कृपा जय भजो मन नारायण नारायण भजो मन नारायण नारायण प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय We live in this vast world, my loved ones, where there are so many things that is offered to us. And one of the greatest gifts was offered to us is a gift called time. Here in Bhagwan Katha explain that death is a separation of the soul from that divine body. Death becomes the starting point of a new and better life that is offered to Krishna Bhagavan. Death does not end your personality and self-consciousness. It merely opens the door to a higher form of life. That is a gateway to a fuller life in the supreme plane. Bhagavan says, my loved ones, birth and death are drudgery of Maya. Who is born begins to die from the minute of birth. He said our journey of death begins as life begins. And he who dies begins to live as a new form is offered. He says death and death is life. Birth and death are merely the doors to come and go from this universe. Brahma or eternal alone exists in the conscious form, my loved ones. Vyas Muni says, when the soul departs from the body and the latter becomes lifeless, the situation is known as death. He said no one will come into the soul and will never experience it. Death is formidable, death is uninvitable, but it is always present in our journey of life. He says, when the prana or the motive body of work ceases to exist, the body becomes in a decomposing state the minute the soul leaves that body. And the minute we are born, every breath we take becomes closer to death. So he says when somebody dies, the minute they die, the body starts decomposing. He says when you're born, every breath you take is closer to the ending. So every breath you take is one breath less than the baby was offered to come into this world with. He says here, I'm going to narrate to you a small kahani. Anybody know what is a kahani? Huh? Story. When this devotee was arguing to Buddha, and he's saying, why her son died? And he's saying, why must my son die? Why have you targeted me that you took my loving son away from me? And he said to her, I agree, as Gautama Buddha says to her. It is said that there is once this woman who had lost a son, her only child, grieved strikingly and distressed. She began to condemn the forms of the Lord. She feels she was not treated fairly. She went to the abode of Buddha and pleaded, "O Buddha, release my son, my only child you have taken." He said, "Then why have you given him to me?" She pleaded and pleaded and pleaded. And then Buddha replied to her. He said, "Oh child, I will give you back your son. But under one condition, I'll give you a son." He said, "I want you to go throughout the entire village that you live in, house to house. And the house that do not have debt, bring me back a handful of mustard seed." So here he's telling her, go to every house in the village. Every house that she could come across to. And the house that never had debt in it, bring her back a handful of mustard seed. And with that mustard seed, I'll give your son life again. Now she had that hope. This is an easy task to get my son back. I'm going to get this mustard seed. And what she did, my loved ones, she thought it was a winning point for her. And she started her journey. For the entire day she completed through the village. And as she returned to Buddha and told him that she could not comply with his request, he said, "Why can you not comply with my request?" He said, "Because every house I went to collect had debt. So I couldn't collect this mustard seed." And painful as it is, he said to her, he said, "Then if I have treated you unfairly, then everyone was treated unfairly. Because every house you went to, somebody died." Heavily in grief, she understood what he was saying. And she realized that death was not only targeted for her, but every house experienced it, some form or the other. At the end, when Gautam Brahma said to her, he said, "Jatana druta mritasama janama mitracha tamara arpana tu twamasum athaya." My child, where there's birth, you will have to expect death. And where there's death, you have to expect birth. Sometimes your grandfather died, but he never see his grandchildren or your great-grandchildren. So he says somewhere in that balance of life, some soul will never meet. Because when some come, some already left. And I show every house, most house that you could think of, friend that you could think of, had death in it. So he's saying to her, first of all, if there is no death, imagine this world will have no place to put anyone. It said death and birth is the balance of the soul towards the universe. When somebody comes, someone leaves. He said, "Oh child, it was so balanced, it was so carefully planned that every new soul come, one exit. Do not be disheartened. Na chanma drita mutana janama devasa janama kacha tasmar arpana tvam suchinatram." He said, do not be disheartened that your house experienced death. Soon the time will come birth will come back to your home. Life will come back to your home. He said, our soul is only a traveler that will enter through one door called birth and exit to the other door called death. He said, you are not targeted when death comes. Do not lose hope. Do not lose faith. Because death is for everyone that enters this world. Prem se bolo Shri Guru Bhagwan ki Jai. My love, when he's saying that death is for every house, birth is for every house that is blessed. But he also goes on to say, life is a one-way journey. How are you living that life? Have you taken time to pray? Have you taken time to enjoy what you have? You know, as I said in the funeral, so I'm going to repeat it this evening. We take so much time building a future we never live in the present. We take so much time thinking of tomorrow that we waste the day thinking of a day that has not yet come. And if I were to ask you, if you were informed that you are going to die tomorrow, what would you do today? It's not an easy question. You can think of 1,000 things you can do. But you know what's going to happen? You'll take so much time of the day thinking of what you could do that you'll lose most of the time thinking what could make you happy. Not so? And now he's saying, Bhagavan said, he said, if you do not take control of time, you're going to run out of time. If you don't take control of the time you have, you'll lose moments as you go along. Krishna Bhagavan says, my loved ones, the soul has been variously defined in many ways. The vital principle in human life itself is understanding that you are blessed to enter this world. He says, if you understand the power of the soul, you'll understand you have to be blessed to born into this world. But take a little trip into life itself and see how many people waste it. See how much time you are waste that you are not enjoying the moment you have. There are many types of death, my loved ones. Suicidal, accidental, unnatural. Go to sleep, you don't get up, you get sick, you die. Some people leave the house, might be speeding, crash. Somebody give up on life and they end it. But what it tells us, there are so many types of death, but we are never sure how we are going to leave this world. We are not sure what the next moment in our life has. But one says, give yourself a moment in time to enjoy the little that you have accumulated. He says, my loved ones, Srutam shokakara srimaram jotavidatama donakrita samaprabhavitasma Atmavidayini, Atmavidayini, Krishna Chandra, Rupa Vidayanam. That of which other than Strutram, Shukshma Karina, gross, supple and casual bodies. Beyond the five shades of life itself, O man, wake up, for the time of exit is coming closer. He's saying when you wake up in the morning, you must think firstly, is this my last day? Is this going to be a happy day? He said, but all in life is about choices. Bhagavan says, Struta Shukam Karana Srimata Veta Eka Pancha Kushta Samastra Traya Saki Satchanana Sarupayam Atmaya. The soul depends on the body for our house, and the body depends on the soul for existence. Day depends on night, and night depends on day. He says, O man, have you not realized of the beauty of life itself? Hari Om, Hari Om, Bhajo Mana Narayan, Narayan. Bhajo Mana, Narayan, Narayan. Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Narayana Hari, Bhajumana, Narayana Na. Again. Narayana Krishna, Narayana Krishna, Narayana Krishna, Narayana Krishna, Bhajumana, Narayana Narayan. Madanamano, Yetanamamanitra, Mamanamayo, Devanatitra Sama, Saranato Jaga, Narayana Hari, Bhajumana. Bhajumana, Narayana Narayana. Yatamamitra Sama, Atma Hamari, Davana Shanti Prat, Mangalahadi, Kotamata Jaga, Narayana Hari, Bhajumana. Bhajumana. Keshana Timitima, Achana Kipara, Avanato Jaganarayana Hari, Bhajumana, Narayana Narayan. Bhajumana, Narayana Narayan. Bhajumana, Narayana Narayan. Prem se bolo Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki Ram Nam. He says to Arjun, my loved ones, he said, "Oh Arjun, I explained to you, the faithfuls who link their mind on me, devote worship, my image form, I consider better than the yogis." He said, "Who worship me, power beyond mind and wisdom, omnipresent, unmanageable, ever enquest of everyday, stable minds and formless bodies. Having gained control," he says, your biggest challenge is to gain control of your mind. He says your greatest challenge is to get control of your time. Welfare of all creatures, O Arjuna, I have treated everyone alike, animals to man. He said everyone has the capacity of knowledge to know what is right and wrong. He says here, you have the power of your mind. You have the power of control, but how do you use it? He said, I have not treated any animals different from human to animals. They all had the capacity of knowing knowledge of what is right and wrong. And I always take the bird as a perfect example. A bird will come, build a nest, not so? In your roof. And then the mother will lay that egg on that nest they build in your house or the tree in your garden. But what you see they do? They will take turns in incubating that eggs. And they will take turns on feeding the young when they come. What happens in the ending? The purpose is different. The birds is going to fly off of that nest and the parents still going to be alone. But it is similar to our life. If you look at it, the mother and father will have a child. And they'll take many years. The birds will take weeks to feed those young till they grow adult. But we as humans take many years to feed our children, to nurture our children, to grow our children, to cultivate our children, to give them a better life. And what happens sometimes? They will have to marry and go off, just like the birds, to start their own nesting. Bhagavan is saying to Arjun, Arjun, have you not realized that even stages of birth to growth has a timing? He said the child will have to start their own life just like the bird will fly out of the nest. He said, but in that purpose, Arjun, you'll have to find what is their purpose. If you watch your hand, my loved ones, how much fingers you see? 5, not so? But you notice not one is equal in length, but all serve the purpose of holding. If all is the same length, they will not be able to cluster. They will be pushing each other apart. So the Lord had a purpose in making hands. He said, everything in this world has a purpose. And your duty in life is to find your purpose. Somebody dies. Right? First thing we say, I'm going to show my face. Because showing our face is more important than giving support. I will go tomorrow. But when we go, what we really do? Think of it. We sit, we talk, we go home. So what we're really giving there is support. He says, no to death are alike. No to mind are alike. No two persons are alike. The purpose of the 5 fingers is 5 children, my loved ones. Every child is going to be different. Every child is going to think different. They eat the same food. They are brought up the same way, but their mind becomes different. He says, Arjun, in the power of life, birth, and death, it's all about how you use the power of existence. And it tells us, my loved ones, cherish this moment that we have. This moment we have now, the second we have now, will never come back in our life. In a couple of hours, it's going to be a new day. New challenges. And he says to Arjuna again, my loved ones, Kalamaditram Sram Apanachayo Amamagitra Gutamapawo. But who put faith, who put love, who put understanding and patience in whatever they do, will find that happiness. Who learn to be content with whatever they have will find happiness. Who learn to appreciate the little things in life will attain happiness. Put in faith in whatever you do. Faith is the key of happiness. You know, you have rice, you have dal, and you have bhaji. That's a meal, right? You go to the pot and say, oh God, I can't eat this again. I'm tired of cooking this. There's a house, there's a pot, and there's a cover. That is basic home, right? And then there's a next life. There's a bridge, there's a box, there's a bin. Somebody sleeping on the bridge. Somebody sleeping on a box. Somebody eating out of a bin. Have you counted your blessings? He says, who have never appreciates what they have because they always want what? More. And who has, don't have, never could have because they're in a place they cannot get, they appreciate less. He says to Arjun, all souls go through where they are predicted to be. All souls go through where they are destined to be. Nobody can change your fate, but you can change the purpose that you have came to. He said, life, Jatara Sama Yute Karmani, Karma Sarad Hukaini. He said, life is about choices, the choice that you make, the places that you go, and the way that you perform your worship. Give and you shall receive. Ask and it shall be granted. We are learning this from child in school. If you ask, you will get. If you give, you will receive. But he also says, Arjun, to redeem the mind faithful to me, totally depend on me. Surrender yourself to your belief. Such investing, that entire devotion, gets back twice as much as you give. He says, you offer to me. I am Krishna. But the world belongs to me. So what I need? If he created the world, what he needs when everything belongs to him. But he is saying, my child, take what belongs to me. Offer it back to me. But put your love. So that is the one thing that belongs to you. Your love. Our sister passed away. We grieve. We'll immensely miss her. But we have to realize now in our mind and come consciously that her journey here has ended. Her date of departure was written, and a chariot was sent to collect the soul. But he also said at the time of departure, you have to accept departure. Depends how you leave this body. In a miserable state or in a peaceful nature. So he says, still it comes down how you want to leave this world. प्रेम से बोले श्री कृष्ण भगवान की राम नाम. He says, offer discourse from the scriptures. Offer life of purity, of the love that is never ending. So that's the greatest gift you can give her. Right? You know when somebody dies, Nisha, Sarah, Rashida, Insha, we always say, you know, we'll come and look for you, we'll spend time with you, we'll be closer. But after the bandara, one never happens. Everybody goes back to their normal life. But what is important, my children, is the way you live in this house. Now is the time all that she have taught you, all the knowledge she gave you, is to put now into action. You know what you can do for your mother after this 1 year finish? Live close. Live united. Right? That you don't have to worry that you are bickering and fighting. Krishna Bhagavan says to Arjun, if you are incapable of exercise spiritual mind, surrender yourself. That karma depends on your action, and your action depends in your entry. So he says, every action has a reaction. He said that is the basis of karma. Whatever you put, you're going to receive. Whatever you ask, you're going to be granted. You can hide from everyone, my loved ones, but from God, we are never hidden. Hari Om Sayajanam Ashtya Nanda Vitram Vitaya Dhanavati Siram Bhaya Krishna Jaya Sri Krishna Ya Guru Dhyanam Mangala Guru Namostute Jaya Guru Namostute. Because of acknowledging the knowledge of truth, O man, be truthful to yourself. He says when you are truthful to yourself, when you are truthful to the divine forces of nature. He says sacrifice the fruit of ignorancy and put an end to negative karma. Krishna Bhagavan says, if you want to be happy, learn to be happy with yourself. Bhajamana Narayana Narayan. Bhajamana Narayana Narayan. Avina Samabhuta Krishna Kanaya Karana Ikitama Naranataya Devanatu Jaganarayan. Bhajamana Narayana Narayan. He said the recipe of a happy life is peaceful mind. Carry any person, carry any object, carry anything, but you'll always have to carry your burdens alone. He said Yogi Samadeva, contents of loss, who have gained control over their mind. Your mind is what brings you up or take you down. Bhajamana Narayana Narayan. Yashanato koko lokane paya chawana chama chama devanataya soka doka yana narayana hari bhajamana narayana narayan. Apane soyata Krishna Kanaya Samana Yogana Krishna Kanaya Yoganata Jaya Narayana Hari Bhajamana Bhajamana देवन भोजन हाथन दाती नानन सुच सुच कान सुतानी देवन भक्तना कृष्ण कन्हैया भज मन नारायण नारायण भज मन नारायण नारायण हेवन कृष्ण मा सामन चित चिता तावन मायुगा श्रीनन काया सामजवजिता नारायण हरि भज मन नारायण 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 हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि नारायण हरि प्रभु वित सम नारायण प्रभु भज मन नारायण नारायण भज मन नारायण नारायण प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय. Ram Nam. He says, who is a pure devotee? Who is a true devotee? Understanding life consists of the major time that departs every day. Arjun, one who has no desire, one who is pure from inside out, one who is impartially intelligent, free from woes, one has feeling of no pride, doers of natural act, understand the body is temporary, faithful one. But where would you find someone like that, my loved ones? Krishna Bhagavan is saying to Arjun, desire brings weakness. Greed destroys happiness. Pride manifest ego, and that is destruction of your own self. He said, learn to be content in mind. Learn to be content in your deeds. Emotions of joy brings happiness. Greed brings jealousy, enmity, sorrows, and unhappiness. Respect creates love. So what he is saying to us, my loved one, emotions could make us happy or destroys us. Action could make friend or make enemy. He said, Arjun, do not be fooled by the glitter of life and realize everything that comes stays the same. Say nothing stays the same. Sometimes you had the best fruit tree in your yard, you bear the best fruits, you enjoy the fruits. You say, and I had the best plant in my yard. And what happened? One little bacteria comes, one little bug comes and destroy all that beautiful fruits. He said, Arjun, every day goes by, the body is getting weaker, it's getting older, it's losing its strength. Nothing stays the same. Do not be proud of the face you have. Sickness can take that away with you. Do not be proud of the house you have. Fire can take that away from you. Do not be proud of the vehicle you own. Accident can destroy that with you. He said, Arjun, everything in life brings happiness, also brings sorrows. He said, everything brings happiness, brings sorrow, you know. Because sukha, dukh, joy and sorrows is every day in your life. You know what makes the difference? How you use it. Right? When you have happy days, you don't need nobody, so you pass on people. It happens, not so? When you have good days, you have everything, you condemn everybody because you don't need nobody. But then there'll come a day you will have sad days. And you realize how one company makes a difference. If nobody comes at night, you feel lonely. You feel like, we have no support. You know what Krishna Bhagavan says to Arjuna, my loved ones? Give and you shall receive. Say if nobody have trouble, you ever go, what happens? Nobody's going to come back to you. Sometimes you ask somebody for a lime and they say, give me 2 lime now. They say, somebody, I promise somebody. Then why? Because you're a mango fall, never give them a mango. So if you don't give, you don't expect to get. Krishna Bhagavan say, what is the concept of prayers? Praying. If you don't make time, you say, Baba, I didn't get time to pray today. I was busy. But I said, if God will wake up this morning and He don't light the light of life, what happens to us? God don't want that whole hour, Sarah. He wants 1 minute of honesty. Think of it logically, my loved ones. Krishna Bhagavan says, you are a reflection of who you are. What is inside reflects outside. You go to the altar, you're praying. But you're studying how you have to go somewhere else, you're rushing it. 24 hours a day and 30 seconds is difficult. 1 minute is difficult. 5 minutes is difficult. But yet you want to live older and older and older. But you know what he says, Arjun? He says, I don't look at how much you pray. I don't look at how long. He said, Taram na vuta saradeva vakta samamam priyamatam. I don't judge by how long you stay by the altar. I don't judge by how much you give to the altar. I don't judge by how much you sing to the altar. You know, I judge by how much time is honest. How much of that time you give with love. How much of that time you give with patience. So it's not how long we do something. It's how we do it. Who takes praise and criticize alike? Arjun, his mind is linked to thoughts of goodness. Who remains satisfied no matter how little they have already understand living. Who sustain itself by making what they have understand that life is short. Such a devotee, steadfast wisdom will come directly to me. He says, such faithfulness, O dear man, who drinks the nectar of wisdom, consider in me shelter supreme. Do not go to a press because you have to go. That's what he's saying basically. He says, such faithful, partly dear to me, who drinks the nectar of knowledge willingly. Somebody invite you for a prayers. I feel to go now, but I'm going to show my face. Right? Somebody have a debt. I really want to go, but if I go, Iqbal might vex. Then where's your love? He said, Arjun, when you're doing it, do it for the right reason. Because the right reason will manifest the right purpose. That will manifest the right solution to everything. He said, Vatra Kamasarade was the Mangala Rupai Nama. Destination of the soul, O Arjun, unique. This relentless to attain me. Who reverence the figures of thought will understand why the soul has to leave the body. Guru Rama Virayana Deva Virayini Guru Kripa Jaya Krishna Murari. O Krishna, the soul leaves the body, but where does it go? Arjuna asked Krishna to explain the major aspect of the soul, my loved ones. As Bhagavan says earlier, not what you give to me is how you give it to me. Not how long you praise me, but how you praise me. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Jatahi Dharmamritam Janmamritaya Vitrasamahi Tamasachanandaya Mangalhari. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru Om. Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru, Jaya Guru Om. Jaya Guru Om Guru, Jaya Guru Om. Jatramita Sama Jaya Guru Om. Tamate Artaya Jaya Guru Om. Krishna Kanhaiya Prabhu Jaya Guru Om. Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Om Krishna Jaya Guru Jaya Guru. Jatana hitra sama atma bihari janana chitra tama atma bihari Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Krishna. Stula Shukma Kara Atma Bihadi Guruna Krishna Om. Vretana Ite Pacha Kotane Tyari Devana Krishna Om. Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Krishna. Savavitatraya Sakane Sachinan Sarupatam Tame Atma Virahi Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Krishna. Krishna. Prem se bole Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki. Here Arjuna is asking Krishna Bhagwan, why must we die? Why must man die after it takes so much time in creating? He says, Arjun, elements must return to their natural stages. He says, death consists of the soul departure. Arjun says, what is the soul? Why is the soul so important to depart from the body? He says, animating the vital principles in a human being, credited with facial of all actions, emotions, love. The spiritual nature of human being, regardless of what the soul has to make many stage of journeys. Stuma shukram karma vita vrikta itam panchakuta sanadeva tritam maya atma shanti bhava. He says, my loved ones, that death comes in the timing of life itself. Date and hour prescribed by the length of time you were given. Death is only the end of the journey from the body. So that is only for the body. The soul never dies. That is the end partially for the personal body. The karmic action based on the particulars of ovarians. That comes after the soul departs. It's a Vashti Janama Yai Vitram Tara Rat Grata Sama Atma Sarvadeva Nirvadai. As a man casts off all worn garments, when the time comes, the soul casts off the old bodies. With the thought of entering a new one, the body is linked as a temporary shell or temporary house for the inner being of the soul. And the soul lives in this house called a body for a particular amount of time according to the time given to that individual. And until that time comes, the soul is linked to that body till the time of death comes. But he also says, my loved ones, that death also is notified to that body. Anybody knows how many days that death, the soul is notified of departure? You know? You are notified, it is said here, that the soul is notified 100 days prior to departure. Not 2 and 3 days. So our soul have 100 days to prepare that body for departure. And how do we say that you understand that when that time comes, the soul understands of death? And the soul begins making preparation for that departure. And he prepares the three Shiratraya, the three bodies known to the soul: Stula, Sharira, And the gross body, or Shukma Shira, the subtle body. At the last day of that 100 days of preparation, the 5 Sutra Shriyas start preparing departure. So he said, at the day of death, the body start slowly fading. The mind becomes unrespondent. But he said, during the last few days before the 100 days completed, you're going to get the signs. She's going to say something to you that would make you not realize that she knows she was going to die. But the soul alone was conscious, not the material body. And he says, what happens there? The soul, unaware of the true nature, knows that it is going to exit this body. It starts preparing to enter the new body. Vitraparam. The 5 Sota shares comprise of the 5 basic elements of the material creation. The first is Akash, space, Vayu, air, Agni, the fire within, Apaya, the water within, Prithvi, the earth. The 5 elements is now notified on the last day of departure. It is said the day of death, Akash, ether or space, is notified. So the body has to go into a trance. And Vayu, air, is notified of time of departure. Agni, or the heat, is notified of time of departure. He said Abhoya or Jal, Apaya, circulation, the blood, is also notified of departure. He said, and Prithvi, earth, the body is notified of departure. So we just don't die. He said in the last moments of death, Akash, Vayu, Agni, Apa, and Prithvi is now notified that the body is going to be given up. And they are notified at the time, so they have the hour and the time now to start dismissing the self. How do they go? He says, the volume of gross body occupies partial amount of space. Respiratory system of the body function because of air. The warmth of the body is the result of the fire, and the body itself composed of water and earth. The gross body of physical body, direct result of karmatic deeds of the past. He said, Shukma Shir, or the subtle body, is that which exists independent of physical body. You say, oh man, while you are grieving outside, the soul is preparing inside. Right? So what he says, that even before our dear sister died, the 5 elements was notified of death. So that you find that she started becoming unrespondent. The eyes become silent. So you don't see, don't hear, don't feel. And what happened? The first thing going to go, son, it says, is the circulation. Blood going to stop. Then the air, then the water, then the fire. When the fire leaves, then the earth leaves, and the body becomes dead. So when we feel that somebody just died, you say, but she just died and no talk to her. The body was already preparing for that moment. Somebody get heart attack and just dies suddenly. The 5 elements was preparing for departure already. So while we are on, he said, while you are on, notify, the body was already notified of departure. And the soul was already putting the 5 elements into place of the time they have to depart without. Prem se bolo Shri Guru Bhagwan ki. He said, but there are 2 types of death. Death where the soul will leave from the upper region, and death where the soul will leave from the lower region. But then, Arjuna asked Bhagwan, but why is it that some leave from upper and some leave from lower regions? It's because of your action. Because of your action, you choose where you want to be. Either you want to go to the heavenly region, or you want to go to the lower region. You say, I do not choose that for you. That is what you choose in your whole life journey. That's why, Old people had a saying, Mama might know. They say you can hide from any man, but you cannot hide from God. He say you can judge any man, but when God judges you, then is the time of destruction. Man can condemn you. If God will condemn you, you are good to go. So don't change your good way because somebody put you down. Somebody tell, hey, you're so that kind of person, you're going to do it because I will prove them. That's what they're saying, I'm going to do it. He say you are only falling victim to the prey. But one says every element depends on your action, you know. Every departure of that body depends on your action, you know. So how you prepare that body to live is by the action you create. He said the 5 pranas: breathing, process, respiratory. Apana, evacuation, excretion, rejection of the body. Via the circulation of the blood. He said they go in accordance to how you live your life. They can go easy, or they can be problem to live. How do you know? You know how you could identify it? As Bhagavan says, by the state of the body after departure. If that person has a peaceful look and dies with a smile, that person already accept, and they were permitted the upper region, so they pass through the middle of the head. And if that person has a miserable look at the time of death, then complexion change, and the soul pass through the anal region. So when they say he will live in a good life, he's a good man, you don't know what he's doing. How many people he's robbing? She might be poor, but she might be giving more charity than who is rich. A rich man, it's good to be rich, you can enjoy it. But don't be too rich that you don't understand the value of life. You say a rich man and poor man is different. You all have to go through rich and poverty. A poor man riches his children, and a rich man riches his wealth. Anybody went through rough days when they were young? Hardship? When your mother had to cook 15 and 20 roti? Right? You have more roti than talkari, and you had to make it work. When she don't cook, she had to make portions of everything. But you know what the difference? Mama can relate to that. What is the difference? That she makes sure a little bit of talkari she make, every child get enough. And then when it's done, she will take this roti and catch the pot and fold it and eat it. Mama, you went through them days? Right? You see them days, and you know what happens? It's different. But one says, do not judge. That soul is judged. And that soul is judged for the way it lives the life. That man lives the life. The body is treated according to that. So that soul have to go through. Karma Rose Kalyan Trishti says, he says when that soul leaves this body, it leaves because of your action. Prem se bolo Shri Krishna Bhagwan ki. So God do not choose how we leave the soul, my loved ones. We have to choose how we leave this world. He said rite and rituals are important in every death. And every religion, every creed, every race have ritual to perform. Everybody dies a ritual to perform. He says clearly, my loved ones, Kraya Agam Nayam Kavita Sutra Jaya. On completing your life journey, and our soul begins this journey, the first thing our souls have to account for, action. In life, a human, you're living, you have to account for your action also. But it says clearly, my loved ones, Ananda Nira Devam Shanta Chakra Gadadaram Aksha Deva Saradeva Panda Rupa Bhavam. You'll only realize the emptiness when the body is cremated. You know, while our body is lying in a funeral home, You still feel she's there. You still know you can go and pull it around and see her because you know she's there. He said, but only when the body is cremated or buried, then you realize journey has ended. Krishna Bhagavan says, my loved ones, everybody will die one day. Every soul will have to go through judgment, whatever religion, creed, or race. Everybody will have to go through sickness. Everybody has to take medication sometime. Everybody has to see doctor, rich or poor. Everybody has to be created rich or poor. Buried rich or poor. He said, no matter your status, don't let it change who you are. Become simple in mind, simple in words, simple in deeds. He said the greatest act of love is simplicity. The greatest offering to God is simplicity. And the greatest farewell is love. Now you send your mommy away? Send your love to her. And your love is what you do in this house. The love is what you do with each other. The love is how you keep on cooking and feeding each other. Whatever she used to do a little bit. Remember a little bit. Krishna Bhagavan says, my loved one, that when death comes to our door, it don't come knocking, you know. It comes willingly. When somebody dies, the one thing that remains the most is memories. He says, don't be judgmental to somebody that departed, but be forgiving to the person that was present. Everyone going to face this day. Everyone going to face death. Everyone going to go through grief. Everyone going to have sorrow. Some part of their life. Bhagavan says to Arjun earlier in the Katha, he says, your greatest gift is understanding who you are. What is your purpose? And how you're going to live your life. We can all say something about the late Sister Sheila. Everyone going to have a story about her. Everyone going to know one thing about her. Whether it's good things, whether it's bad things. But the one thing we will always be blessed and remember her by, that we were blessed, that we connected sometime in life. He says every man will go through this journey. He said, but we have to learn to stop condemning each other and start respecting each other. Because this journey of life is getting shorter, my loved ones. The journey of life is getting shorter. Every day come by, we are closer to death. Every second come, we are closer. That's why I tell my followers again and again, only you want to celebrate your birthday is okay. But celebrate your prayers firstly. Because every birthday come in your life is a reminder that you are 1 year closer to death. But he says, how do you prepare for that? Clothes, jewelry, spend all the money. We don't know how long we have. But it says every day you wake up, live it like it's your last. Be content, be happy, be forgiving, be loving, be caring. He said that is how you prepare for that. Live it to the fullest, understanding tomorrow may never come. An easy way to understand that, my loved ones, think back when you was a child growing up. Think of your age now and how you wish you could have been that child again. How we wish you could have been 14, 15 again. You know, we want to grow up, children you here. You want to grow up, you find, all right, I want to be big. I want to work. But remember, the minute you start that, your child days is over. Your adult days begin. You want to get married. The minute you get married, your child is over, adult age starts, and life begins. Cherish the moment you have. Bhagavan says to Arjun, cherish the moment, because the moment that you have now will never come again. No today ever comes the same. Every day is different. Every day has its challenges. Every day has its kahani. Right? Every day has a beginning and every day has a ending. He said death is just like day and night. Day becomes birth and night becomes death. Right? We can't make daylight now. We have to wait till the sunrise. It says surely so the soul is. It have to wait in the moment to depart, to rise into the heavenly region. Prem se bolo Sri Krishna Bhagwan ki Jai. Let's offer a prayer to our dear sister. At this point in time, asking Bhagwan, as we close our eye again, reflect in worship. Hari Om, Hari Om. Asana Jira Yatra Viram Atma Virayani Krishna Chandraya Sarvadeva Namostute. Jai Krishnaya Saravitram Mangala Deva Vitram Saradeva Mangala Krishnaya Guru Namostute. Jowa Paranam Itam Sukra Chaho Suna Mama Bacha Hira Gahavo Sukra Sukadhuka Bhavini Mataya Atma Shanti Nama Yama Yama Bita Samatatra Karaviram Shilanam Sikara Devam Cynthyanam Se Tamatawa Kautasara Atmaya Shanti Bhava Jaya Guru Devam Shanti Atmaya Deva Kripa Jaya Krishna Kripa Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Om. Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Om. Jaya Guru Om Krishna Jaya Guru Om Krishna Jaya Guru Om Krishna Jaya Guru Om. Bol Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Jaya Guru. Achavan Guru Jaya Pratan Bhavi Gatana Gata Sama Pratan Pahi Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Krishna. Natam Chataya Natam Krishna Nachava Bhasuka Krishna Kripaya Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Om Krishna Jaya Guru Om Krishna Jaya Guru Om Krishna Jaya Guru Om Jaya Guru Jaya Guru. Devana Sayatra Diyana Korama Kovana Jasuka Krishna Kanaya Tatana Bhava Bhava Dritana Tayo Jai Jai Guru Jaya Krishna Kanayo Jaya Guru Jaya Guru Krishna. Devana Sayatra Diyana Korama Kovana Jasuka Krishna Kanaya Tatana Bhava Bhava Dritana Tayo Jai Jai Guru Jaya Guru. Krishna. Jaya Guru 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 जय गुरु ओम कृष्ण जय गुरु ओम कृष्ण जय गुरु ओम कृष्ण जय गुरु ओम जय गुरु कृष्ण यम की विता कृष्ण पूरन सा कृष्ण सामन दुख सुख धीरन कृष्ण नातन विभवा पीतन कृष्ण देवन गुरु जय कृष्ण विरायत जय गुरु कृष्ण Krishna. Prem se bolo Krishna Bhagwan ki Ram Nam. He said, Arjuna, I am going to ease your mind why you should not grieve for a soul that departed. He said, bless, O Arjun, that you must realize, do not grieve for those who have not grieved. Yet you speak of the words. You grieve over those who you are not supposed to grieve for. O man wise, O Arjun, keep note that the soul does not die. So he said, Arjun, do not grieve over the soul. Because the soul have not died, he only exited the body. He said, Na tvam jata nasa, na tvam nitram janam, na chaiva bhava bharmadadavam. There was never a time when I or you or these ruling kings or princes or princesses have not existed. Nor there was a time that I have not walked among my devotees. You say, among all my devotees. I'm always present with you. He said, Deva samayatra dina kauna ka jara tatra dhanamadyam diratan muraya. As the indweller of the body experience, all childhood experience, childhood, youth, old age. Through this body, so there he will pass on to another body. O Arjun, do not grieve that the soul have to go through youth, childhood, age, middle age, old age, death, and back again. It's a life is a never-ending journey. Then he says, Matra samadeva kauna kaya sabanuna dukkha sukh dukkha gaga praya. O son of Kunti, the contacts of the sense with their objects creates a feeling of heat or cold, pain and pleasures. They are fleeing important that in life you'll face good days and bad days, cold and warm, sickness and health, youth and old age. He said that is a part of your journey. Good days, bad days, sickness, health, sorrows and joys, birth and death. You have to go through this. He said, Yamaki vitra sama purushtaya sama utana karam. O Arjun, who is not tormented by these feelings, who treat pain and pleasures alike, poverty and wealth alike, is surely in the right place. He said, when you learn to be content, make what you have to. He said, when you get sick, don't condemn God. You know, you get, God, I prayed and I'm still getting sick. He said, remember that is only part of your karma you are reaping. After sickness is going to come health. Right? After joy, there's be sorrow, and after sorrow, there's joy. The house go have wedding, go have death. And the house does have death, does have wedding. The house, people die, that child is born. You cry one day, and one day you celebrate. He said, Arjun, this is a basic, normal part of life. Once you're human, you have to go through these different portions of life. He says again, my loved ones, unreal has no existence. The real never cease to exist. O Arjun, birth and death are common. Joy and sorrow is common. Understanding, alone the soul shall enter, and alone it shall exit. Right? You come alone and you will leave alone. And he says in details, he said the mother is having his child. The mother in tremendous pain, don't even know when the child enters the world. Right? She only knows the pain when it's over. He says, so the soul will be in so much of thoughts at the time of death that the body don't realize when it leaves it. He said it comes and it goes unknowingly. You know, you have a wedding, everybody is celebrating. And why he said you come alone and go alone, the child, mother goes in the pain, the child, soul enters, but the child comes into the world. Right? He said when they die, nobody goes with you. You could have hundreds of followers. When that fire take, everybody going to what? Back off. So you still have to go all alone. Right? And he says here, the soul is neither born nor does it die. Therefore, coming and into being, ceasing, realizing that the soul only passes through this journey of life and exit at the end. He who believes the soul is neither the slayer nor considered to be slain, both ignorance and joy, understand that the soul is never ending. Do not grieve. So where he is saying to Arjunisha, he's saying do not grieve. You'll have a moment of lowness. But the minute the rite is performed, then you should let her go freely. Because she is going to the Supreme. He says, just as, O man, understanding what death is, as a man casts off his old clothes and buy new clothes, so to the soul casts out the old body, seeking a new body. Natamachanda sara nai nataram deva. Weapons cannot burn, cut that soul, fire cannot burn it, air cannot dry it. So you know that soul is safe. For the self-incomparable being, understanding that the soul is never ending, realizing that everyone will pass through this day, some part of their life. Arjun, you should not believe that the soul is subject to death, but the soul is subject as a new journey, a new mission. Even you should not grieve like this. Death is certain for those that are born, and birth is certain for those that are dead. So Arjun was explained from Krishna that when somebody dies, the time has reached. When a child born, a soul is returning. When somebody dies, a soul is existing. Exiting Kalam Vishnu Lokaini says, Arjun, do not grieve, for our soul has its own purpose to follow. One day will come when you also will have to make that journey. But then the question remains, what are you carrying with you? He explained to Arjun that death is so important because the soul has to exit. But he says now, question remains, what would you take with you? Anybody? As we are coming to the end, I want you to think for a moment. What can you take with you? Jewelry? House? Wonderful. Car? The box? The body? The house? Not one single thing. And now Krishna Bhagavan is trying to explain to Arjun. He says when the soul leaves, it comes alone, it leaves alone, it comes with nothing and it leaves with nothing. Why are we fighting for house? Why are we fighting for car? Why are we fighting? Everything could remain right here. You're fighting, studying who come, who didn't come. You know? The important part of everything is you do your part right. The important part of everything is you do it for the right reason. Why we do strive for our loved ones? Because they are our loved ones. My loved ones, how many things we can say about Sheila tonight? There's so many things we can say tonight. I will start by saying, the first person who entered that mandir was not Iqbal, was Sheila. And she came because of Iqbal. Right? But you know, you'll find a strange story there. But let me tell you something. Everything in our life was pre-planned by the universe. And that Sheila she never exit. But she did something that is beautiful. She brought you into this world. She nurtured you, she grew you, she stable you. So what you going to say about your mother? She did her duty and she enjoyed every moment of it. We all are going to take this journey one day in life, my loved ones. But I want you to keep in mind, nothing goes with you. Nothing you can give to this family is going to ease that pain of loss. Nothing you can give to any family that has a death can ease their pain. But you know what could give them that ease? Your company. Your encouraging word. A few minutes of your time, a phone call. You know, coming here every night, right? Or when you have time and you don't want much. Or anybody have dead over much. You know, you sit down and you spend 5-10 minutes. That 5-10 minutes is greater than anything you can give to them. That 5-10 minutes tells a lot. It tells the type of person you are. It tells your consideration. It tells your upbringing. As Krishna Bhagavan said earlier, Nikata, my loved one, when you give, you shall receive. You know, sometimes, and this is a very easy example I'm going to share with you tonight. You're doing some work home. A friend invites you, say, boy, in China, I'm doing some work, come and help me. Right? So you go and you work with him for the whole day helping him. But then you have some work to do and you call him and he didn't come. How are you going to get? Angry. But if you get angry, then you feel what you do, eh? You know what Bhagavan says? When the time of need comes, if that person have not reached the same way, I will send somebody else. I will send somebody to take that place. Don't be angry. Because sometimes when you need the help, that person have not uplifted themselves yet. So Lord will send to pull you back down. He'll send somebody else to help you. Maybe the person you ignored all your life might come that day. But you know, the basic of life itself, my loved ones. Your presence here tonight alone tells your love for the family. So wherever the soul is at this moment in time, and she's looking on, you know, the soul is wrong till the 10 days. Right? She's seeing the love. She's seeing that she's missed. She's seeing what you're offering in her name. And she will bless you all with this present, because you know why? The day will come when you will be blessed to be receiving the same amount of love. My loved ones, life is about changes, and change begins with every one of you. Sometimes somebody is sick, for example. Your mother is sick or your father is sick. We use mother and father as most. And you are getting time to spend some time with them. I'm busy, I can't get a day off, can't take some time off. Not so? Because my mother is sick, but I'm busy. If I go to one, I'll get paid. But your mother come and die. And you what you take? You gotta take a whole month off. What you gonna do she then? Where is she then when you take that month off? Mata karo Devi Bhavan. Your mother is like God itself. Pita Hamari, your father is like God itself. So when you take a little time to do for them, you are serving God through the earthly gods. You feed her some food. I know your girl did a good job. That food you feed your mother, you're feeding to that divine soul. Bhagwan is also benefiting. So whatever you do when somebody is in needs, you are serving that soul, which is the Lord that resides within. Children, you know, blessing you want me to receive. Prem se bolo Guru Bhagwan ki jai. And our final lesson for the night. Learn to be simple. Learn to be understanding. Learn to be yourself. Don't try to be who you are not. Don't be angry all the time. Because if that is your last day, you're going to die angry. Be content with what you have. But whatever you have, somebody have less than you. Whatever you're wasting, somebody is praying for. Whatever you're throwing away, somebody is grieving for. That's the concept of life. When you leave this world, what legacy you leave behind? What story you leave behind? What name you leave behind? You know, we always say the word character. Protect your character. The character is your name, because only your name remains after. Take away the picture, right? So in 10, 15 years from now, Iqbal, to remember Sheila's face, you got to watch the picture. Because you're going to fade from your mind, but the picture is going to remind you what she looks like. But the one thing you could never ever forget is the name. Because your name will remain till eternity. Somebody dies 15, 40, 60 years ago. You all know what they look like. Alright, let's say we went to Lakan Karya, right? Cremation site. Everybody know the word Lakan Karya. He was a singer. 90% don't know who he was. But what remains there? His name. And because of his deed for his community, that place was given in his name for memory. So it tells you the legacy you leave behind is the name you build while you're living. You cannot build a name after you're dead. You have to build it while you living. Right? Like Krishna Bhagavan says, all you have to always say, Ram Nam, God is great. Don't wait till you die, somebody else say it for you. Say it while you have life. Ram Nam means God is great, you know. Understand? But if you don't say it when you're living, Where are you supposed to say it when you die? Keep on every morning you wake up, think it's your last day and say, Bhagwan, today as I wake up, give me the strength, give me the blessing that I will know what is right and wrong, and I will be able to perform my duty proudly. And if I have to go on this day, O Lord, take my soul at your bosom and forgive me for my shortcomings. O Lord, I don't know what is in store for me, but grant me your blessings. प्रेम से बोलो श्री गुरु भगवान की जय. Let's stand a minute. No, you sit on Mama. Karanam vitam sama atmaya sarvadeva namostute. Take her name, Nisha. Om Sri Atmaya Shanti Mahini Matayo Deva namostute. Om Sata Vitram Havishaya Indra Daya Sarvaturya Agamaya Suravitra Sami Deva namostute. Repeat after me. Om Ye Satyaso Haviraro Havishapa Indraya Davam Sarvatam Turyana Agni Ye Survadatre Driya Pare Rishibir Garam. Is a Odipatir one. Death has taken you out of this body. Now you are only in a matter of existence. May your name be glorified in the heavenly region. Odipatir one, death has separated you from the body. Accept death and prepare for your journey towards the Supreme. Om Pusham Tayam Chayo Pradam Vitata Pushtaya Gutram Samavitram Samadevaya Atmanamam. Repeat again. Vashasam Jirahi Yatra Vira Nama Grinati Naro Prarani Tata Shridam Vira Chitanam Aya Sama Navam Diya. Departed loved one, death has casted you out of this garment, the body, to acquire a new one. So too, embodiment of the soul cast out of this body, you are no more existent in this material world, but you are in a form of traveling towards the Supreme. Om Sri Krishna Arpanam. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Brahma Shanti, Vishnu Shanti, Atma Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Brahma Shanti, Vishnu Shanti, Atma Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om. Itam Vitavarayani Krishna Chandravayanam Mangala Guru Janasya Vita namostute. Bhajamana Narayan Narayan. Bhajamana Narayan Narayan. Pita mama jaga matana tata. Pita virasama Krishna Kanaya ma